Hello everyone and welcome back. I got Arch and Naya with me to explain how the format works here in GSCS Season 9. Arch, take it away.
Alright, so we got a pretty simple system. We have 4 double elim qualifiers with 1 main event. The top 2 teams from each qualifier will automatically qualify through, and we will have 4 additional teams joining them and the invited rosters based off of points that they'll accrue over the span of the qualifiers. As I mentioned, we have 4 qualifiers that'll be taking place on November 20th, November 27th, December 4th, and December 11th. Naya, would you mind expanding on that?
Yes, I can. So for the point system, first place gets 10 points, second place gets 7 points, third place and fourth place get 3 points, 5th through 6th get 2 points, 7th and 8th get 1 point, and as Ark said, top 2 auto-qualify to the main event. For the main event, there's going to be 16 teams in a group stage, 4 invited teams, and then 12 from the qualifiers. And then it's going to be a 2-day format on December 14th and 15th. It's going to accumulate to $1,600 total, and day 1 is going to be the group stage and 1 match from the single elim, and then day 2 is going to be top 8 to grand finals.
And something I do want to amplify is also how simple the points format is as well. If you don't make top 2, if you don't auto-qualify by making top 2, you have the opportunity to use the points format as a way to get a look from the outside in and get invited as the 4 other teams into the main event. Now, talking about events, this is our first GSCS event back in over a year and a half. Let's talk about production.
So tomorrow, joining us on the caster booth, we got Mel and we got Gex. This will all be taking place on Herculyse's channel, and in the following weeks, we'll also have Herculyse joining Mel in place of Gex. Herculyse is currently away at an award show, and hopefully she takes home an award herself. Back into things, we have Little Joe running production, and he will also be heading this going into the main event, but we expect Nick to be joining him as well, as we will be running multiple streams. Disregarding that, Naya, I want to hear who you got for Dark Horse.
Yeah, for my Dark Horse team, I'm going with Antics, Mania Milk. I think with Antics, he definitely catches a lot of teams off guard, and especially if he's playing in form, he's definitely going to shock a lot of teams, and then with how Mania Milk are going to play, I feel like they're definitely going to catch a good amount of the top teams off guard, and they'll possibly at least get a minimum, maybe top 4 minimum, depending on how they're playing. Mel, who is your Dark Horse team?
As a lot of GSCS fans are going to be happy with this, Devo. Yes, Devo is back and playing in GSCS season number 9. Devo, Rhyolite, and Martin. That's the roster that's going to be going in to November the 20th, the first event with. That's going to be my Dark Horse team. Obviously, everyone remembers Devo back when he was on Blizzard Frost, the Blizzard Dynasty days, where he was consistently a top 5 player in the league. That was consistently willing Blizzard Frost top tier results when they're back were ruling the GSCS in the season that Kiyohaku won. Now, Arch, who's your Dark Horse team?
Now, I'm going to be honest. I think I have what's considered an off the reservation pick. My Dark Horse is the fellas. Between Kipper, Wolf, 2-Factor, and Madeline, I think they got a pretty good shot at breaking or wrecking our bracket. I've been watching them play a lot recently, and they've just been doing absolute damage, both individually and as a team. I'm curious to see how well they can do at this first qualifier. However, just because they can wreck our bracket doesn't mean they're actually going to. I'm curious, who do we have in our top 3? Knight?
Alright, so we're currently going based off of the current teams that are signed up at the moment. Our number 1 team right now, I would say, is Psy, Expert, Wonder Mike. Say the second team is T-Crow, Jazzy Panda. And the third team, I'd say, is Polar, Next, and I. Mel, what do you think is the top 3?
My top 3, it's going to be interesting. I'm going to go a little bit off here. My number 1 is going to be T-Crow, Jazzy Panda. I'm going to say next is Naya, you, obviously, Polar, and Next. And my number 3 is going to be, don't hate me for this, Alter, Life, and Plexi. And I know a lot of people are going to be very confused with that I'm not picking Psy, Expert, and Wanda Mike. But I'll tell you why. I've got to cast them over the past couple of days. I know they had trials with Vesh, they had trials with other people, But Plexi used to be in the GSCS. Plexi played in the GSCS Season 7 championships with that C4 roster that turned into Dark Falcons. That team was absolutely incredible. I want to see Plexi have a comeback story. It's not only about that. Life has been on his game recently. Same with Alter. Alter has stepped his level up in the recent months to a sufficient extent. So that's my number 3 roster. Of course, I want to see them make a top 3. I want to see them make the GSCS championships, but there's a lot of work that has to be done for them. Now, Arch, who are your top 3 teams?
Unfortunately, as much as I'm about to match with Naya, I have gone with the same 3. I just have a different order, in fact. At my number 1, I have the Polar Knights. So I have Naya, Polar next as my team to beat. I think they have a very good chance at auto-calling through on this very first attempt. In my second seed, I've got Size, Expert, and Wanda Mike. Knowing them, I think they also have a very good shot at getting through. And in my third seed, I have T. Corel, Jazzy, and Panda. They're a very good team. There's no doubt they have a good shot at this.
Naya, you're the wise one here out of all of us. I'm curious, what are your team expectations? Where do you expect some of these top tier teams to place here in the first event?
Okay, I'm gonna start with Sykes for Wanda. After seeing how they've been playing the past couple weeks together, and I know they've been scrimming and all that together, I think they're at least gonna get a minimum top 2 just of their performance and chemistry as a team. I don't really think many teams could upset them, but there is a chance. But that's why I say I think they'll minimum get top 2. I'd say Tikro, Jazzy, Panda. I haven't seen them play much, and I know they're just now a tryout team, so I'm not sure how they're gonna do. I'd say they'll probably also get a minimum top 4, top 3. Might get upset, might not. I'll say for Diva, Riley, and Martin, I think they'll also be in the top 4 also. I think they could get upset by any other team that also might sign up, or they might have an off day, who knows, or might have a peak day. But yeah, I think they'll be top 4 in my opinion. Side Basketball Boy, Mafino, I haven't really seen. I know Mafino and Basketball Boy are a duo, but I haven't really seen them play as a team. So I think they're probably gonna get top 8. I think they're gonna have an off day this journey. Malakim, what do you think on your team expectations?
I think personally, like for just like Psy, Expert, and Wanda Mike, I could definitely see them making the top 2. I think that's going to be a team that might get upsetted, not early in the bracket, but at the very least before the winners final. I can see them matching up against Devo, Rhyolite, or Alter, Plexi, Life roster, and then losing pretty early. I do think that T. Corel and Panda are going to match really, really well, because those are 2 players. First of all, I know T. Corel game-wise really, really well, and same with Panda. I've never seen Jazzy in my life. I've never seen the name Jazzy in my life. I'm just hoping that he is as good as both of them are. And I do think that that's a team that can, as well, like you said earlier, can make a minimum top 2. Now, for your team expectations, Mr. Weekly Manager, I think that you guys, I really hope that you guys can make a top 2 here. You guys have been ruling the weeklies. At least you individually have been ruling the weeklies for the past couple of months. Let's see if you can bring that into the GSCS. I think you guys can probably make a top 2. Same thing with Devo, Rhyolite, and Martin. I think those guys are going to do at the very least top 4. That's going to be a good team. Scythe, Bosco Boy, and Mafino. I'm not going to doubt or anything, but at the very least for those guys, that's a team that may not do as well as some people expect. I love the way that Mafino plays. He single-handedly willed his team in Frost the other day. Now, for Bosco Boy and Scythe, that's going to be very different. I've never seen Scythe work with either Bosco Boy or Morphina before, so it's going to be very different. I think that team is going to place around the top 6 range. Now, Arch, what do you think?
I mean, I've said this once. I've already said it. I'm gonna say it again. The Polar Knights are the team to beat. I know Knight is being a little modest over there, but between him, Polar, and Nex, I think they have to win this. I think they are too good of a team compared to who we have signing up to not win this whole thing. I would be surprised if they finish outside of the top 2. Looking at some of the other rosters, I do like the Awesome Sauce roster, so Scythe, Bosco Boys, and Mafino. I think they could easily get into that top 8, that top 6 area, but obviously they are a new pairing of sorts, so it will be interesting to see how they mesh and play together. Looking at... I think Green Beans probably, so the T. Corelli, Jazzy, and Panda, I think they have a good shot at coming in that top 4 when we might be seeing them auto-qual through on a later event. And just to give one more shout out, I think the What's Up roster, so Size, Expert, and Wonder Mike, I would not be surprised to see them finish in the top 3. I perhaps even sneak in and get that top 2 spot.
Yeah, these are all really top tier teams as well. Anything can happen. These are just our opinions, and as everyone in the GSCS knows, I always have a really big opinion. Okay, it might not always be right, but I mean, during Spate this summer, I was always right. So like, Mel never wrong. Come on, guys. Anyways, speaking of that, Mel never wrong. Yeah. Speaking of that, it depends on whether you're watching this live on Twitch or you're watching this on the YouTube or Twitter channel. Either we're going to get back to the gameplay or we'll see you later. We'll be back in just a little bit with an interview with the former GSCS Season 7 champion, Kiyohaku's very own Ice Panther.